I'd like to speak on an issue of national importance, and I will be referring to my notes. Mr. Speaker, the issue is the complete breakdown of an equitable system of land distribution for the poor people of this country. The hope that the Belizean people had of the promises that the UDP government led by this Prime Minister when it pertains to land, Mr. Speaker, has faded away.
Yes. He has raised our point of order. Let me
What's
get the
his point of order, Mr. Speaker?
Sit down, we'll hear it, man. Members of the gallery.
Member just said that he will refer to his notes. When you come in at the house, you must learn for talk and so you don't call it paper and you read. You know, they refer to no notes, Mr. Speaker. In the read already. You know the house when you are debating, Mr. Speaker, people elect you that you could stand on your feet, you could show jobs, and if they are teach them, brother Speaker. Teach them.
Refer to the notes as you ask, member. Don't read. You don't need to
Mr.
read.
Speaker, I have no interest in listening to the era from Mr. because he makes no sense.
You don't need to read, member.
Mr. Speaker, 5 years has passed, and the people of Belize are still waiting. The poor people of Belize are still waiting for them to have a Ministry of Lands that works for them. But what do we have right now, Mr. Speaker? We have the most inefficient, we have the most corrupt ministry that this country has seen to date. It is a shame, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as the area rep for Cayo South, it is obvious to all that normal Belizeans have no faith at all in the system, and they have decided that they want to take things into their own hands. That, Mr. Speaker, is extremely dangerous. It is extremely, don't worry about me or no, John. Don't worry about Patrick plus Louis, that they bring you down.
Proceed with your presentation.
Mr. Speaker, examples of these people are an organization called Belize Grassroots Youth Empowerment Association. Mr. Speaker, this organization is led by Nigel Petillo, David Barnett, Elut Hall, William and Miguel Usher, Kirk Garnett, Cadet Henderson Jr., and lo and behold, the wife of the area rep, Diane Finnegan from Mesop. Mr. Speaker, these are the same people that fought to get that UDP government elected, and these are the same people that are being disrespected by their own government. Added to that, Mr. Speaker, you have the PUPs that fought valiantly for us in Blackburn Eddy, and they too are disappointed in this government. So as you are looking at, Mr. Speaker, it is not about politics. It is about the poor people of this country having an opportunity to get land. And what is happening is that they are taking out their machetes, they are taking out their chainsaws, they are going out and surveying their own lands because this government cannot do it for them. And that is the problem. Mr. Speaker, it is a shame, as the party leader mentioned, when we have villagers, and by the way, the most productive people of this country, who are our villagers, that cannot get a piece of land for their children. Worse than that, they cannot get a plot of agricultural land for them to be able to be more productive. But, Mr. Speaker, this government led by that Prime Minister pays the gangs to sit at home instead of providing land for the people so that they can better their lives. The same problem that our public servants are having, Mr. Speaker, whereas they work hard, they expect to be given a raise, they expect to rise in the ranks because of merit. That is what I'm speaking about. I am making an example. It's the same way that our villagers feel. when people from outside come here, when I say, people from outside get priority over their village lands when they believe that they have the priority. The same way the public servants are offended when political appointees are placed above them when a raise is due. Mr. Prime Minister, you are the one that in the past incited civil disobedience. You are the one that did that in the past. But now, please, now it's coming full circle, Prime Minister. Like what the old saying is, every sense foul guy is Sunday. Mr. Prime Minister, the buck stops with you. Instruct your people to set up the proper system in the lands department, whereas the Belizean people do not have to resort to extraordinary means to obtain the services that is duly theirs. If you can decide who your deputy leader is, then instruct him to do what he deserves to do. Instruct him to take action. Instruct him to do the right thing. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I would like... Don't worry about me, my boy. Worry about Patrick and Louis, because they bring you down.
Member of Kaya South, conclude, man. Conclude your statement.
Not a fraud with me. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I would like to make some recommendations. 1, put in place a land distribution committee that includes partners from the civil society. This would eventually remove the godlike power that this present Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Land, has over the Belizean people. 2, set in place a policy that gives priority to first-time landowners. 3, set up a transparent system where all land that is approved by the ministry be made public. This can be done quite easily with a website system where people can be aware. 4, establish a survey unit within the lands department to be able to provide this service free of cost to poor Belizeans who cannot afford a private surveyor. And 5, please, Mr. Speaker, we are asking the Prime Minister to respect the recommendations of the duly elected area reps and the duly elected chairmen of our villages. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
I stand to respond on what the Honorable Espat just mentioned or alleged. Mr. Speaker, I won't talk as long as him because what I will give is the facts. Mr. Speaker, he is talking about the land that we need to distribute to all our people. I totally agree with that. But what I want to make mention to him is that in 10 years of the PUP, they managed to distribute some 7,800 pieces of land. In 5 years, we have managed to distribute over 38,000. And Mr. Speaker,
shows that we issued over 65,000 pieces of land, Mr. Speaker. The records are right there, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, and I want to make mention that out of that more than 38,000 leases, more than 80% of those that received a parcel of land were first-time landowners, Mr. Speaker. I want to make mention that our ministry opened on more than one occasion on Saturdays just to facilitate people to be able to file or to apply for their lands. Family members not so... Mr. Honorable Member from Freetown, it was not for my family member that we opened. It was for that group from Petio crowd. Okay? Just to clarify certain things. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member Espat mentioned that this ministry, or the Ministry of Natural Resources, is the most corrupt ministry. I wouldn't want to argue that because I have not measured it. But I remember that under your administration, the PUP administration, that was the most corrupt ministry. That was when you got the Chief Justice House. That was when they sold the piece of land at the free zone for $100, and the following week it was sold for $1 million. That was when you got the land at St. George's Key. Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we can go on and on about the amount of land that he, the Honorable Espat, got under his administration. But I'm not here for
Speaker,
that.
Yes,
point
but-
of clarification.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Member.
there is a marked difference.
Member. If he has said something that's not true, you can respond with. If it's no. If it's clarification, he has to give you permission to clarify.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I will not continue talking about the Chief Justice House or the other pieces of land that he acquired, about the one on Forest Drive and stuff like that.
Mr. Speaker. There is a marked difference, Mr. Speaker. I have never been in government. He has been. Why not find out by his family and all the members' lands that he has in Pine Ridge? That is the problem.
Member, you're completely out of order. Either you ask for clarification or you have a point of order. Don't stand and shout in the mic again. Proceed, member. Proceed, Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I want to mention to the Honorable Espat that if he continues encouraging his people to go and do illegal things, the police department will be dealing with them. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Espat, I don't want to lose my respect for you, but you like talk a bunch of lies. And you grin like you're silly. For drug trafficking or for bear contrabanding. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Espat comes talking about people whether Konya and Gelan. I don't know if he talk but his colleague, the Honorable Mendes, because my wife does not Konya. So that must be she you they talk about. That must be your wife you they talk about.
Members. Sit down, members. Sit down. Wait. Deputy Prime Minister, sit down for 1 second, please. Sit down for 1 second. Members. I allowed the reference earlier, the member for Kaya South reference the spouse of the Minister of Housing in a very respectful way. Members of the gallery, I think I've said it before, I don't need any help. All right? Now listen to me. Be very careful, please. Nobody has stepped out of line as yet, but be very careful. Proceed, member, the Deputy Prime Minister. Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
I make mention that you noted when I spoke.
Mr. Speaker, come on, man. Sit
You have
down.
had your turn.
He is not speaking
Member
respectfully
for
of our spouses.
You have had your turn.
You have to be
You
fair.
Had your turn.
You have
You've
to
had
be
your
fair.
turn.
Mr.
Proceed,
Speaker,
Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I don't see anything wrong with we talk come here, plus that he bring it up. Mr. Speaker, I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that my ministry is doing and will continue to do everything within our powers to facilitate every Belizean to make sure that they get a piece of land. I want to tell you that so far, I know that there's a lot that can be fixed in our ministry, but that I am also proud by the achievement that my ministry has done so far. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.